their deputies sworn in by head of state, and Bartica gets 3.3 megawatt power plant. Welcome to InfoHub. It's Monday, December 30th. As of today, the 11th Parliament and the 10 regional democratic councils have been dissolved. The proclamations for the dissolution of Parliament and the councils were issued on Friday by His Excellency David Granger. This will pave the way for general and regional elections on March 2, 2020. A detailed story can be found on our website. President David Granger today emphasized the need for all to work together, as mayors and their deputies took their oaths of office at the Ministry of the Presidency.
The message from His Excellency President David Granger on the swearing-in of the newly elected mayors and deputy mayors was the need for collaboration.
The government of Guyana functions at three levels: national, regional, and local. All three levels must collaborate to ensure the efficient delivery of public services to every citizen, everywhere in the country. All three levels must be competent in order to ensure good governance.
The head of state noted that the colonial three-county system of Demerara, Berbice, and Essequibo initially depended on appointed district commissioners. This was replaced by a system of 10 administrative regions, which encompass democratically elected town councils, regional democratic councils, neighborhood democratic councils, and village councils.
Municipalities are essential elements of the local government system. Their role has been expanded beyond the mere provision of municipal services. They are now expected to become agents of change, drivers of development, and protectors of the environment, in collaboration with central government and the regional democratic councils.
President Granger added that towns are the principal terminals of trade and seats of public administration. He added that the coalition government is working to strengthen the role of capital towns in regional development through a regionalization policy. He advised that town councils revamp their administrative systems, enabling them to become engines of enterprise employment and economic development agents. The head of state urged that regardless of political affiliation, leaders must collaborate for the common good. Referencing the holding of constitutionally due local government elections, the president said this renewed local democracy as he reminded the elected officials of their roles. From the Ministry of the Presidency, Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
After enduring 18 years of electricity woes with an old power plant, partisans in the Guyana-Mazaruni region can now enjoy improved living standards following the commissioning of a 3.3 megawatt power plant.
December 28 is now a special day for the Guyana-Mazaruni region. It marks a day in which a coalition government would have continued on its promise to provide safe and reliable electricity to the region through the commissioning of a 3.3 megawatt power plant. In his feature address, His Excellency President David Granger noted the power plant will boost the township's unique role in igniting regional development.
To you, Barticans, the plant will strengthen your role and your position as the leading community, the hub of development of the Guyana-Mazaruni region. The plant demonstrates your government commitment to Bartica and its commitment to the Guyana-Mazaruni region. It signals the continued success of your government's efforts to improve the quality of life of citizens and at the same time to enable an environment conducive to business development.
The head of state said that energy security is a driving force of human development within the Bartica Township, thereby making integration of the power plant even more critical. With this $800 million power plant, the head of state expressed his confidence that its generation capacity will not only meet the township's demands but exceed them. In his remarks, Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable David Patterson, highlighted plans to transform Bartica into a green town.
Plans are afoot to install a 1.5 megawatt solar PV farm with storage in Bartica. This project is currently in the procurement stage, with international bids opening on January the 7th, 2020. The supply of electricity from renewable sources will further be increased by connecting the power supply in Bartica with the planned 1 megawatt hydropower plant to be built by the GEA at Ikiribisi.
Bartica's new power plant is outfitted with three 1.1 megawatt high-speed diesel engines. It joins a list of 2 other power plants commissioned in 2019. First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger and other officials from various branches of government attended the commissioning ceremony.
Reporter from Bartica's newly commissioned power plant with videographer Kenny Ann Bacchus, Shaquille Bourne, for InfoHub.
Minister of Natural Resources, the Honorable Raphael Trotman, has issued a directive to the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission to extend the final amnesty of payment rentals for miners. The amnesty period has been extended from December 31, 2019 to March 31, 2020 and applies to medium-scale property holders who are in arrears and whose properties have not been published as cancelled in the official gazette. The penalty accrued on these arrears will still attract a waiver of 50%. The issuance of this directive follows several requests from organizations representing the miners. The Ministry of Natural Resources is encouraging all property holders to take advantage of the extension and make all outstanding payments. Regulations which govern the capital city are to be revised and updated to ensure the efficiency of the mayor and city council. This is among the focus areas for re-elected Mayor of Georgetown, His Worship Ubraj Narain.
Following the official swearing in of mayors and deputy mayors of 9 out of 10 towns across Guyana on Monday, re-elected Mayor of Georgetown, His Worship Ubraj Narain, told InfoHub of his plans to make statutory changes aimed at restoring Georgetown to the garden city it once was.
My main focus is on bylaws of the city and also City Hall, and also I want to focus as well on the way we dispose of our garbage and maybe set up a recycle plant or something. And I'm looking for private-public partnership.
Re-elected Mayor of Linden, Her Worship Wanika Arndell, said in this new term, visibility in the community is paramount as Linden celebrates 50 years as a town in 2020.
So the hope is that Linden will kind of start transforming. We want to make Linden into an ecotourism destination. And so we're going to start working on community projects that transform the face and the aesthetics of the township. So that's where we're heading for this year. And of course, we're hoping to bring those investments in. The Linden-Lethem Road is going to start and the road to Kokwani is going to start. So that's going to increase traffic.
Meantime, re-elected Mayor of Bartica, His Worship Gifford Marshall, noted that going into 2020, more attention will be placed on achieving the town's green agenda.
In 2020, we look forward to a greater year, a year where we want to fast-track the development of the town. So much more emphasis, of course, will be placed on the general aesthetics of the town, improving our environment. We would have made significant strides where solid waste management is concerned, but we still have a very far way to go.
Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
When we return, historic Guyana Suriname Tourism Accord signed and Central Housing and Planning Authority exceeds projected house lot allocation for 2019. Details of these and more after the break. Daddy! Thanks for staying with us. A historic Guyana Suriname Tourism Accord was signed between the Ministry of Business, which has responsibility for tourism, and the Ministry of Trade, Tourism and Industry of the Republic of Suriname. Minister of Business, the Honorable Hemraj Rajkumar, signed on behalf of Guyana, while Minister of Trade, Tourism and Industry, His Excellency Stephen Sang, signed on behalf of Suriname. The Guyana Suriname Tourism Accord is a framework cooperation agreement that will reinforce efforts in both countries to increase tourism business between the two territories and enhance the growth of a sustainable tourism product that will attract larger numbers of visitors to Guyana and Suriname. The establishment of a Guyana-Suriname Tourism Cooperation Council is to be convened within 1 month of the signing. The council will oversee all actions arising from the accord and will comprise 3 representatives from each country, drawn from both the public and private sector. The Central Housing and Planning Authority has this year exceeded its target in the allocation and distribution of house lots. This is said to be a proud accomplishment for the agency.
2019 has been a promising year for the Central Housing and Planning Authority. As of December 20th, more than 1,298 house lots were allocated in regions across Guyana. The target for that line item was set at 1,000. The agency also distributed some 2,063 land titles and transport, 563 more than what was targeted at the beginning of the year. Minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibility for housing, Annette Ferguson, said the CHNPA is still carrying out its mandate of regionalization, regularization, and reorientation, particularly for the poor and working class.
We have to ensure that going forward, when we're allocating lands to those persons who are dire in need of lands. And I think we have started on that footing.
Come 2020, Minister Ferguson said that the CHNPA will be aggressively pursuing the reduction of the more than 60,000 applications in its database. CHNPA's Chief Executive Officer Leland Saul said his agency has been charged with providing housing solutions to all Guyanese, particularly those who are at the lower end of the social ladder.
We want to revisit those things to ensure that we address the needs of the small man. We cannot ignore the small man. There are many people in this country and you see it. You go to Georgetown, you walk around Georgetown in the night. We have citizens sleeping in the streets. Go in rural Guyana and you see how some people live. People should not be living like that. And therefore we have to address this problem.
The agency continues with its work program towards the end of the year. Out of the $4 billion allocated for this year, some $3 billion has been expended. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
The National AIDS Program Secretariat is calling on more persons to utilize the volunteer counseling and testing services available across the country, re-emphasizing the need for persons to know their HIV/AIDS status.
The National AIDS Program Secretariat, NAPS, continues to push its public awareness campaign with the hope of encouraging more persons to get tested for HIV/AIDS. However, Deputy Program Manager Dr. Nicolette Boatswain said there are some challenges as new trends emerge.
The program is concerned at the increasing trend of members of the public posting their HIV test results on social media. We know that there's still stigma attached to HIV/AIDS, but doing this may add rather than take away from the stigma so many persons still endure.
Over a 3-year period, preliminary data shows that there has been a decrease in persons accessing voluntary counseling and testing services. According to the National VCT Coordinator Deborah Success, NAPS is also taking a stand against counselors who may be involved in falsifying test results.
The national program can identify the signatures of all counsel testers and holds the right to investigate any testing activity suspected to be done under unethical or fraudulent circumstances. Any counsel tester who colludes with clients to falsify HIV test results will be sanctioned. Their certification and license will be revoked, and he or she may face the court of law for engaging in fraudulent activity.
Representative of NAPS outlined the steps to getting an HIV test done and reminded that these services are voluntary and free to the public at 41 public healthcare sites and 7 civil society organizations. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy, and pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates at DPI Guyana. Remember to subscribe to our WhatsApp on 608-4111 to experience Info Plus and keep informed on developments across the country. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.